Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this way.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 127. I'm your host, Tyler, saying thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming and joining us for this episode. I'm here with our two co-hosts, starting with Graham. Graham, how are you today?
I'm doing well. It's been kind of a crazy week. I've had to replace my vehicle, so a lot of time's been consumed with that. I got in some NHL 19. I did some streaming. I want to send out a message to Tony. We intended to play a game, but I was having problems with people who was watching the stream. They probably noticed that it was freezing, and I was having some issues with my internet. So I was working on that and kind of watching the Leafs game because NHL started, and you know we're all well. I know I'm excited, and you two are excited, and other hockey fans are excited. So I didn't get back to playing that game, but I definitely will take a rain check on that game, Tony. Other than that, I played a little bit of Forza Horizon 4, like pretty much everyone in our community. This game is pretty popular. And I tell you, if you got a 4K TV with HDR and you want to see how well that performs, like with the Xbox One X, I'd highly recommend Forza Horizon 4, because that game is just made for like 4K beauty, like the outdoors, the environment, the colors, like that's great. But other than that, yeah, pretty much just focused on those two games and been busy with other stuff. Yourselves?
Cool. Well, I've been good, but first, before I talk about myself, let's go to Steven. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Had a busy week with both school and work. And I'm kind of tired, but there's no rest for the weary, as they say, because I have a softball tournament starting tomorrow that runs through the rest of the weekend. So that should keep me pretty active and pretty busy. And I just have a feeling Monday's gonna roll around and I might not want to go to school. I'm not gonna lie. It honestly depends. We'll see. But other than that, I've been pretty good. I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 4 on the little bit of time I've had to play. And by little, I mean I put 12 hours into it since Tuesday,
Okay.
so
Well,
I
that's
guess
pretty
it's
good.
not so little amount of time. But I've been having fun. I got to play with Piracy from our community a little bit. He's a really good drifter, but he sucks at racing because I crushed him. But he killed me in the drift challenges, so I guess we're even there. But no, that game's fun, and I highly recommend it. And I mean, if you have an Xbox, just get a week of Game Pass or a month of Game Pass for $10 and try the game out. It's well worth it. And actually, I think there are places where you can get like a free week of Game Pass.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember seeing that somewhere. So definitely try to find that because it's definitely a fun game. But how have you been, Tyler? What have you been up to?
Oh, pretty good. I said last week on the show, like, it's that time of year for like fall allergies, and it's awful. I hate it so much. Dealing with it right now again, but it's been a pretty good week overall. Like, I got to play some Forza Horizon 4, and I tell you, I love 3, but I like 4 even more. Like, I just think it's just such a well done game. I'm not even that far into it yet. I'm not as far into it as you are. And I actually just finished the first, hovercraft race, like, right before we went to record. So I'm still pretty early on. I just got into fall, and I plan on playing a lot more of it this weekend. Also played some Battlefield 1 this week. I'm still just super hyped for Battlefield 5. So I'm looking forward to that. And that makes me want to play Battlefield 1 again. So I did some of that. And played some of the sports games, some NHL. I've been playing some Versus in that, actually. Streamed some of that on Monday. And with mixed, success, mixed levels of success. And I've been playing some Madden. I actually just completed a set today for the Mutt Heroes and Ultimate Team. So I picked up a 91 overall Saquon Barkley, which is awesome. I'm just currently deciding whether or not I want to play, keep him on the team, or sell him with him on the team and bump my overall up to 87. So pretty excited about that. But it's been a pretty good week. So we'd love for you to come join our community, everybody listening right now. And there's a few different ways to do that. So you can join by going to Facebook and looking up the Gaming Hub forums there and just joining the community. You can also go to Twitch and look up TXH Gaming Hub. Make sure you hit follow so you never miss when we go live with streaming. That's something else we do aside from the podcast to help engage our community. And from either of those places, you'll get a link to our Discord where we probably have the most active chat and conversation going on. And you'll get a link from, like I said, either Facebook or Twitch to join our Discord server. And we have channels for all different stuff in there. Between our like Madden Franchise League, which there's still open spots for. So if you're an Xbox player on Madden 19 and you'd like to play an online franchise, you know, it's pretty laid back, pretty a lot of good people in it. But we do have spots open, so feel free to join. We have a Minecraft server dedicated to our community. We have a channel for that. Channel for lots and lots of stuff there, so we have pretty active conversation there. But there's another reason that you want to join those two things. And or one of those two things at least, between Facebook and Discord. And that's because tonight, we announced it last week, tonight's the first night of our 12 weeks of Christmas holiday giveaway, the biggest giveaway we've ever done on the show. So we're giving away a Nintendo Switch to the person who can correctly guess the answer to some sort of thing that we have in mind. It could be a person, it could be an object, it could be a place, it could be a game. Who knows? Something from gaming. Okay? And we're going to give a clue every week starting tonight. And when you hear this sound, that means that we are about to give the clue away. Okay? That's just a practice run. That's not the actual time for the clue for this episode. But when you hear that sound, because that's when we're going to give the clue away. Because we're going to do it at different times in each episode. So it's not going to be at a set time or set place in each episode. It's going to be at different times. So you got to make sure you listen. Okay? Now, everybody only gets 2 guesses for this contest. And I want to stress that. And we're not doing it to be evil. We're doing it so people don't spam us with like everything they can possibly think of. Because we want this to be a fun competition that goes throughout the fall. The clues are intentionally going to start more generic in general, and they're going to get more specific as we go. The reason I stress it, though, like I posted, guys, the form today to submit clues. That's the only way you can do it, is go into Facebook or Discord and use the Google Forms thing that's there to submit a clue, because they're all time-stamped. We can see you sent it first if 2 people happen to guess on the same day or something like that. Okay? It also helps us track much easier who's submitting guesses. Somebody already submitted one before we've given a clue out. I can tell you it's not the right answer. But that's one guess gone for that person. Because before I put the forms link up, I posted the rules and I let them sit there for a little bit so everybody had a chance to read them. Okay? The rules are there on both Facebook and Discord. Okay? That's getting all the details and the nasty stuff out of the way. The thing is, we want to have a lot of fun with this, and we want to make it fun for everybody and give away an awesome prize at the end, something better than we've ever given away before. Okay. If you want to help support our community, there's a couple different ways you can do that. And really, this prize, this Nintendo Switch, is only possible because of the support that we've gotten for everybody. So thank you so much for that. There's a couple different ways to do it. One on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to use it on us, we'd really appreciate that. We'd love that. If not, use it on somebody. Help support somebody in their achieve their goals. Help them grow, whatever it is. Okay? So that's one way. Second way is we have a Patreon page. Patreon.com/GamingHub, and you can, for as little as $2 a month, you get access to exclusive content or timed exclusive content for patrons every single month, at least twice a month, and we're aiming to do more than that. You also get, at $5 and more, entry into our monthly giveaway that's just for patrons for $60 in gift cards to whichever system you want. You can spend it on a game, you can spend it on movies, or whatever you want to do. Okay? But that's a $60 giveaway we do every single month for patrons, and that's starting at the $5 level. Now, every patron also gets one extra clue for our holiday giveaway, or one extra guess, I'm sorry. One extra guess for our holiday giveaway, and one extra clue per month. Okay, now it's not going to be unfair. It's going to be the same type of clue that we would give. So the October one won't be so detailed it should be in December. That's not going to be how it works. It's going to be along the same lines of everything else we're giving in October. They just get an extra one per month. And that's because the support of the show that those people have given has helped make this giveaway possible and all the extra things we do possible. So thank you to everybody who supported us on Patreon. I want to send a special thank you to Jacob B, who got in on Patreon this week, just today actually. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate it more than you know. And that's it. Did I miss anything, guys? YouTube, we have a YouTube page, the Gaming Hub Podcast on YouTube. And finally, if you want to contact us via email, you have questions, concerns, feedback, anything, we appreciate it all and we respond to everybody. It's the Gaming Hub Podcast at gmail.com. All right. Anything else, guys, that I missed before we get into news?
I think you've covered it.
Okay. So one last thing I should mention before we go into news, and that's that we are the official podcast of the XboxHub.com. So for all the latest and all your Xbox news, go over to the XboxHub.com and check that out. They have a sister site, the SwitchHub.com, that covers everything in the world of Nintendo Switch. All right. With that, guys, let's go into news.
In the news.
And let's start with The Witcher author Andrei Sapkowski demanding that CD Projekt Red pay him $16 million in compensation for using the Witcher property. And the CD Projekt Red paid him at the beginning. Like, they bought the rights, and he had the option to say, I either want one payout or I want percentage of whatever it makes. He didn't think the games were going to do anything. He didn't think they'd succeed. So he took the payout. And now, based on a law in Poland that says if, looking back in time, you weren't, quote, fairly compensated, that you can seek more. It's not a lawsuit yet, but it might be. So, guys, I want to throw it to you and see what you think about this. Steven, let's go to you first. What are your opinions on this?
I mean, the first game didn't do all that well. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just it didn't succeed. I think The Witcher 3 was where the game really, really took off. The Witcher 2 a little bit. So I kind of understand the the want for a little more money for the rights to the game or whatever, like royalties basically. But they offered him percentage of the profit, like based on, or the revenue or whatever. And he declined it because they on top of the payment they offered that, from what I read, and they declined it. Like, why would you decline it? You could have taken the payout, assuming, like, I get that it doesn't necessarily sound right, and maybe I read it wrong. It's possible, but it does sound like they offered him the payout and some percentage. He was like, "No, I only want the payout."
Yeah, it might have been like a lower payout, Steven, plus percentage, or like a higher one-time payout. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess it does make sense, like, under the law, based on what I read, that he has a case because just of how successful, like, they've been, especially after The Witcher 3. But the fact that he turned down the option, 15, 20 years ago, or however long ago it was, like, might hurt him. And I'm interested to see. And, like, at first, when I first read it, I'm like, dude's looking for, like, a payday or something, which, I mean, he is. And I do get it, though. It kind of sucks you make a mistake because you're not. It's hard to look into the future at how successful it is, and maybe you didn't think video games were gonna stay popular for a while, or that I don't know, that just the game wouldn't sell well. Like, CD Projekt Red was like kind of what's the word? They were small when they bought the rights, so it's hard. It's hard to fault him for making that mistake because everyone makes mistakes like that. His just costs him a lot of money. I can't imagine he's doing too poorly, though, in book sales, because I have a feeling a lot of people went and bought the books after the Witcher 3 came out, and people enjoyed that. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where to stand on this.
CD Projekt Red did say that they're willing to come to some sort of agreement with him, but $16 million is just out of the question.
Yeah.
So Graham,
seems like back pay with interest and everything.
Yeah. So, Graham, what are your thoughts?
Well, I would say, like you said, like he's asking for 16 million. Like, okay, maybe if he said 2 or 3, then maybe I'd have some sympathy for him. But I think he's just being super greedy. He knows that this game is super successful, one of the greatest games out there, and it's making tons of money, and it's probably still continue to make tons of money. And he's regretting his decision, but listen, you made the decision, you got to live with that. And like I said, if you maybe were a little bit reasonable, then maybe I'd have some sympathy, but 16 million, like really, like that's a pretty high number that you're asking for there. And I'm not saying they can't afford it, which I'm sure they can, but you should be happy with whatever they would give you. And the fact that you're asking for that much, I don't think you should get anything just for that reason. Because, like I said, you straight up knew exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
You sold the rights, and they even gave you the option of, if it's very profitable, you can do pretty good for yourself if you choose that option. But he's like, no, I don't think these games are going to sell, so I want payout right now. Because, like, even at the time, maybe he didn't need all that money, but he was greedy at that time. And now he's like, now I want even more. So from what I've known and what I read, I really don't think he deserves it, because I think he's asking for way too much. And, like, I've watched documentary about The Witcher and stuff like that, and all these people seem like really reasonable people and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't think they need to give him any money. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you think, Tyler?
So after clarifying real quick, it said he, according to the letter that he wrote, like he is requesting 6% of the profits obtained for the lifetime of the franchise. And so that's about 16 million based on just The Witcher 3 alone. And I can't foresee it being that much more based on the other 2 games. I don't think they sold insanely well. So I mean, 6% of the profits does not sound like that much.
Well,
the 60
it
million
kind of does though.
But 6% when he was the guy who created the story that they turned into the game.
Sure.
I mean, I see it both ways, and I guess I'm with him a little bit that it's hard for him to see the success in the future. Like, and that's what he said. He was like, he regrets it because he didn't foresee that being successful. And that's why he wanted all his money now instead of over percentage of profits. And yeah, so I don't know.
But what he essentially did is said, I don't believe in you and what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. They proved him wrong, and now he's like, well, give me money now. And I don't know. I think 6% is a little high, actually, because if I'm not terribly mistaken, I want to say that even like with franchises like Star Wars, the highest percentages were like 2% of all sales, and that included like toys and stuff like that. And that's where George Lucas made his fortune, because he took the percentage deal because he believed in what he was doing. And as an author, you should believe in your story, and you should believe in your content, and believe that it's going to translate well into this medium. And if you didn't think CD Projekt Red was the right company to do it, to make it good, you shouldn't have partnered with them in the first place. So there's plenty of stories out there about like big companies from the past where they there was like a partnership, and then one guy was like, no, I'm out, and they offered him like either stock or they offered him a payout, and they take the payout, and the guy's sitting there with whatever X amount of dollars when he could have had 500 times that.
Yeah, like an example is Shawshank Redemption. I'm pretty sure they bought the rights to that for $12 or something like that. So, like, Stephen King was like, okay, you guys made this much money, and so I regret my decision, so I want all this money. Because life don't work that way. Like, that is something you make the decision right there, and you have to live with it.
Well, not necessarily according to Polish law, so I guess
I was going to say, in Poland, I guess it doesn't work that way. We're looking at it through the lens of where we live. Mm-hmm. And kind of the way things work. But, the guy should be compensated fairly, but to come around now, like, where was he after Witcher 2?
Yeah. And what if they do other
yeah.
Witchers as well? It's like, well, now you guys can make even more money because they own the rights to Witcher now. They can do whatever. What about Gwent? Like, is he going to take profit from everything they do now? So, like, I don't know. I don't see that as an option.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out, but interesting story. We didn't mean to turn it into, like, Legal Hour here to kick off news, but that's a big thing in news this week. So let's go to something a little bit more fun. A Harry Potter RPG was leaked and essentially confirmed this week. So it's being developed by Avalanche Software, the creators of Disney Infinity. And reportedly the game won't be ready for release for at least a year. So we're looking at next fall at the earliest. Now, the kind of confirmation came from the fact that Warner Brothers insisted that the videos be taken down. And they went through legal channels to do that. That's usually a telltale sign that this is real. So, Graham, I know you're looking forward to this more than any of us. What are your thoughts on a Harry Potter RPG? Are you interested in playing it?
I'm kind of interested. I'm one of these people who haven't made its way through the whole series yet, but I could see Harry Potter pulling off an RPG, and I know there are massive amounts of fans out there, gamers and non-gamers, that are very interested into this game. And I'm pretty sure we have our very own on the podcast by the name of Steven.
Yeah, so Steven, what do you think?
What do you think?
I'm not interested at all.
Lies.
No, of course I'm interested. I mean, the fact that they made Disney Infinity scares me a bit. I just don't know how well they'll do with this. But I'm very hesitantly excited. Obviously, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I grew up with it. I literally can't remember when I started reading it, but I know I read all the books very, very quickly. When they came out, of course. And I watched all the movies. I mean, I own it on 4K. I've watched it probably once every year, the whole series, and I try to read the books every now and again. I just sometimes don't get the chance just because time is short. But I'm a huge fan, so I'm super excited for this game. I'm really interested to see what it could do, and I really hope it doesn't suck, because that would be heartbreaking to me more than anything else. Minus Kingdom Hearts, it's literally a tie between if Kingdom Hearts 3 sucked and if this game sucked of what I'd be most disappointed for, because. It just hurts. I think I'd have preferred Bethesda's hands here over Avalanche, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to trash on them before the game comes out. But if the game comes out very terribly, there might be some trashing going on from
might
yeah, like you'll be more hurt by that than you would be if, for example, even Fallout 76 wasn't that great. Well, so
yeah, and I mean. And unlike another one of us on the show, like if the game does suck, I'm not going to pretend it's amazing. Tyler.
Sure, yeah, that's me. But I'm in between you guys on this. Like, I love the movies. The books are still on my list of things to read. I just have such a backlog with reading right now that they're a little bit down the list. But I've always wanted to work through the books. I actually have the box set of the books, but haven't gotten around to reading them yet. But this game sounds really fun, and I think there's so much potential in this world for this type of game. So I hope they do it right. I hope they treat it right, and they're true to the world, they're true to the lore, but create an original experience that is new for everybody. So
yes,
yeah, I don't want it to be like rehash the movies. I don't want that.
Well, they already did that.
I know,
because they had those licensed games. I kind of wish that this game would be set in modern times, but at Hogwarts,
sure.
in 2018 rather than 1990s. It might have even been earlier than that when the story was set.
It would be kind of interesting to go and see and hear about like the legend of Harry Potter, and all that stuff. Like that would be kind of interesting. So, yeah, I'm with you, Steven. I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic for what this could be, and I am almost certain that we'll see it at E3 next year, if not sooner. All right. Now we got to go back into some bad news. Sorry, everybody, but Telltale has reportedly laid off the remainder of its staff, despite telling them they'd be kept on to see The Walking Dead, the final season, through to the end. So there were Telltale employees tweeting late this week that, you know, there were things like, hey, remember when they said they were going to keep us on to finish it? You know, just kidding. We were all let go today. This sucks. Like, this entire situation sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, Steven, any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly happy with Telltale. I think what they did was very terrible to their employees, and yeah, like this doesn't surprise me at all. Like, to be honest, not at all, because I know, didn't like the final season get picked up by a different developer to finish? So
No, they were
Not
hoping
yet.
it would.
They're working
oh,
on it.
they were working on
Yep.
it. Yeah. So yeah, that's where it the fact that they were working on that means it doesn't surprise me. And I mean, it sucks for the employees. I know Ubisoft had an event in San Francisco for like the staff that got laid off back like a week or two ago when it happened. So I'm hoping that some of those people got jobs in the industry. I imagine a decent amount did. It can't be an easy industry to get into in the first place. So people with experience are probably pretty useful. And so, you know, I hope those people got jobs. Because I feel bad for them, but can't say I feel too bad for Telltale as an entity.
Well, yeah. Before I turn to Graham here, like, Telltale didn't evolve at all. They've kept the same formula, and they've doubled down on it, tripled down on it, quadrupled down on it for the last few years, and you've seen declining sales in the games. Gamers have said, hey, we want something different, at least a new engine, and they finally promised that, but it was too little too late. And they failed to secure funding for, you know, future projects, and then they had to make this sudden decision that, hey, we're laying, you know, this many people off. I feel bad for the people that were told they could stick around.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Steven, for the hiring events, like, all those people that were let go that day, yeah, it sucks for them, but they at least got to start looking for new jobs right away, whereas these people thought they had something for a little while. And now they're really at a disadvantage compared to their peers because they're going in to start looking for new stuff later after everybody else has already talked to somebody.
Yeah,
So-
I imagine these people will potentially get picked up, or I mean, like we saw
hope
in
so.
you know Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Like sometimes this stuff, while it looks like a terrible situation, it works out for the best because they start a company and make a game that sells like hundreds of thousands of copies. You know, so
Yeah.
hopefully a situation like that happens,
Yes.
rather than the other way.
Plus, I mean, I think the story gets exaggerated a little because there's always a high amount of turnover in the game development industry. There just is. Most studios have like a core team they keep on. They hire additional help to get through a game, and then they lay those people off when it's done. In a lot of cases, so you know, I think I don't want to defend Telltale. I think the way they did this was pretty crappy. But Grandma, anyway, what are your thoughts on it? Anything, Dad?
You know, I think they kept on the other ones because they really thought that they were going to be able to salvage it or have them work. Because why would you lead some people on? It's like, okay, we're going to let a whole bunch go, but we're going to keep a few of you guys around if they didn't know it was going to go through. So they probably tried really hard, and I guess maybe they just haven't the means to it. Like, I don't know for sure. Like, I'm kind of speculating here. But it'd be really crappy to say, okay, we're going to keep you guys on and we're going to be good. And then like, well, we were actually lying to you. Joke's on you guys. So I feel like they really tried hard to keep them, and then they realized they couldn't.
No, I don't think they had nefarious intentions at all. But do you think the lawsuit maybe had something to do with this decision? Because former Telltale employees are now suing them based on California law, labor law, that they did not handle these layoffs correctly. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they just said, no, we can't even afford this payroll because of what we might face.
That's possible as well.
So I don't know. I mean, that's total speculation, so I didn't source that from anywhere, but it's possible. So, all right.
More bad.
So, yeah.
Or no, wait.
So now we're kind of going back to maybe good news. So we're kind of alternating here. In the United States, at least, Toys R Us might still be alive, and we didn't really talk on the show at all about Toys R Us's demise. But an auction was canceled, and there are reports that they plan to open new stores. So my question for you guys is this, and I don't want to sit on it long, but do they need to change their business model in order to be successful, and if so, how?
Well, online is the biggest competitor by far. And here in Canada, like all the Targets closed down. I think Zellers have closed down, or Zellers turned Targets and closed down, whatever. And Future Shops have closed down. So there is a trend going on here. So I don't know if they're like, well, all these places are down now, which was our competition. So now if we try to come back up, and if we have like a better business model, then maybe they can attract other ones. So it seems like it could be a better opportunity for them now with less competitors, but I still don't know if they can compete with the online aspect of it. Unless they're going to like kind of work with the online aspect of it. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Graham. I feel like Amazon is probably also what helped put Toys R Us out of business. I know you said Walmart. But the fact that you can order the same expensive products from home and not have to leave your house leave your house to get the toys off Amazon makes me think that like it probably did Toys R Us in as well. So I think if they go more online and probably don't expand as quickly and put them in the big markets, I feel like Toys R Us in like, isn't there like a 3-story Toys R Us in New York City? Or there used to be, probably not anymore. Wasn't there like
there probably
a big
used to be. Yeah.
I swear there was the big Toys R Us there. And it was like, as a kid, I always wanted to go to that one. Because,
I know.
It's a huge Toys R Us.
3 stories of toys.
Yeah, exactly. But, so it's hard to say. Like, you know, the toys are better quality, but that means they're more expensive. So there is a smaller audience for it. And so I think Toys R Us may only appear in big markets. Because I remember when I lived in, like, when I was in Fort Hood, Texas, like, there was a Toys R Us in Killeen, and it just seemed a really odd place for it. I'd just be driving down, and there'd be a Toys R Us, and it never looked like there were a lot of cars there. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't want them to die, because it was my childhood getting those Toys R Us brochures in the mail and circling the gifts I wanted for Christmas.
Like catalog. I forgot about
Sears
that.
catalog.
Not the Sears catalog.
No, but like the whole toy like booklet or whatever. You know,
the Toys R Us catalog was the greatest thing ever. Like I remember, I'd spend like hours on like a day off, like after school or on a Saturday.
I was gonna say a day off when you're like 6.
I know. I'm speaking in adult talk here, but. Yeah, like on a Saturday, just going through and being like, "Oh, that would be so dope," and circling it, and you know, but that was fun. So maybe I don't know. I think though, if they tried to adapt to a more online thing, like kind of tried to compete with Amazon as more of a specialty shop, they might be more successful. But I guess who knows?
So I personally think the company that they've got to try to emulate is Best Buy, because by all accounts, Best Buy should be out of business, and they're not. Like, they were really, really close at one point, but they have embraced the online marketplace, and they're doing it really, really well. Almost too well, because I get emails like daily about flash sales and all this stuff going on at Best Buy. And it's too much, Best Buy. But they have embraced this thing of like, hey, our stores are here. Because what was happening before was people going to Best Buy stores so they could play with the stuff and see the stuff, and then they would go home and order it off Amazon. And that was it. But Best Buy embraced this online culture that we have now of online ordering, ship straight to home, all that stuff. And they're succeeding. And I think if Toys R Us followed that model, they could succeed. Nobody's going to challenge Amazon in the online marketplace. They're just not.
No.
And even Walmart, I would argue, is not. Like, Walmart's probably the one that can get the closest, but I don't see them overtaking Amazon anytime soon. So, Amazon's got a stranglehold on that. But I think Toys R Us can exist as the like physical place you can go to see all this stuff and have the kids, see it, play with it. It's like a great babysitter. I read articles about people said they would just like drop their kid off at Toys R Us or something. It's great parenting, but I think if they follow the Best Buy model, they could make a comeback, and they can't open too many stores. Like Steven, you said, Clink just seemed like a weird place. You can't have too many stores.
Yeah, that was what Krispy Kreme's issue was.
Oh, totally. Krispy Kreme went out of control. Krispy Kreme tried to become like Starbucks overnight.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
So
and they quickly stopped becoming like Starbucks.
Yeah, and they were really good. Junk food, which we might touch on later. But
sure.
So anyway, that's it on that. Toys R Us might still be alive. It'd be cool if they are. All right, there's another rumor. Graham, you'll be happy to hear this. Probably not, but we'll send it to you anyway. There's another rumor that PlayStation will be allowing PlayStation Network members to change their PSN names soon, this time from a developer. Now, word of caution here. There's been these rumors before, every year and a half or so for the last few years. But, Graham, do you have a horribly embarrassing PSN name that you came up with when you were 13?
No, because I never owned a PlayStation until I was, 26, maybe even older.
Okay.
I was late in the game. This still bewilders me how this is not an option. Because, perfect example, like you said, people who, when they're 13, they could have made a name on a whim or lost a bet or didn't really care. It's like, well, I'm not going to be playing this at all. This is just for this one game. And now they're 30 years old, and every time they sign in, they're like, oh man, I really wish I could change this name.
Well, here's the thing.
PlayStation doesn't let you.
You make a gamer tag or a PSN name when you're anywhere between 14 and 17. And maybe the range is even more broad than that. It's almost guaranteed to have two numbers in it, or at least one of two numbers. Steven, can you guess those two numbers?
69 or 420?
Yeah. So, and then like Graham said, you grow up and you're 30 all of a sudden, and your significant other, or even worse, in-laws are looking at that, and it's something just horrible. And Podcast Beyond used to do a great segment. I don't know if they still do. I don't know if those guys carried it with them to kind of funny, but when they left, but they used to do a great segment on embarrassing PlayStation Network names, and it was so much funny. It was so much fun to listen to, and I can't even repeat, we're a safe for work show. I can't repeat some of the best ones, but it was fantastic. Steven, isn't it time for this to just happen?
Yeah, I really don't know why it hasn't done it before. It's such easy points for their people, to do it. And I almost wonder if at this point they're just waiting for the big, some really big debacle to come, and then they change, and then they set this out to kind of distract people. I mean, maybe that's the pessimist in me, but yeah, I think it is. It's time for this to happen. I mean, I don't have an embarrassing PSN name, but again, I made it towards the end of my high school career, so I wasn't super immature. I'm not gonna say I was mature, but I wasn't to the point where it was bad. Not like someone we know, all three of us, but yeah, it's time. It's time, and I know a lot of PlayStation fans have been pining for this for a long time, so I hope it happens
forever. So, at least since I first started listening to podcasts in 2012, 2013, this was a segment then on that show. So, people have been begging for this for a long, long time. So hopefully it's real this time. We'll see. Sean Layden did say to the crowd, he was asked at the last PSX about this, and he said, we're working on it, and hopefully by the next PSX, I won't even have to answer the question. Now, they canceled PSX this year, so that buys him into next year, I guess. And but I based on this time it coming from a developer, there might be some truth to it. So we'll see what happens. All right. A professional sports team has banned Fortnite and gaming in general from road trips. And this is the NHL's Vancouver Canucks. Veterans on the team kind of made the decision. They have a really young team overall. But veterans on the team kind of made the decision, nope, we're going to go do, like, quote, team bonding things when we're out on the road. And now everybody's not going to bring all their gaming consoles and play Fortnite together in the hotel rooms. I don't know. I think, personally, this is evidence of kind of the age gap that still exists with gaming. I think, and I don't want to generalize too much, but I think once you cross a certain age, and I'm not even sure what it is, but I think you get more and more people that are like, well, gaming's just for kids and it's stupid and, you know, you should be doing these things instead. And I think that they're losing an opportunity to really connect with the younger people on the team. And, you know, players around the league tweeted out, and like Patrick Laine, a star player for the Winnipeg Jets, had the best comeback for it. And he was like, well, they need something to blame after last year, because last year the Canucks were terrible. So, guys, what do you think about this? Graham, I want to go to you first. You're a huge hockey fan. It's your number one sport by far. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, I think it's kind of crazy just because it's not just Fortnite and it's not just video games. Like, I'm sure some of them are on their phone playing games, maybe like Candy Crush or something like that, like a ridiculous amount of time, or something else, or watching Netflix. So, like, they're grown men, and if for some reason they're playing this and they're up all hours and then they're not good on the ice or stuff like that, then maybe in the long run, like, get a show and they won't get that contract. But to police this and say, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't, like, I think it's pretty ridiculous. And if the fact is that teams are performing badly, or maybe there's no chemistry being developed because of this, then it is kind of ridiculous. But the fact that you got to be like, no, you can't have this, we're taking your games away from you, that's pretty ridiculous. Let's hope it doesn't turn into that, and then just like they'll just ban like all these systems and stuff like that. Because I get some of these teams are on the road and stuff like that, and some people like go out maybe clubbing or go to these fancy restaurants, but maybe some don't like doing that. So there's other ways of bonding and stuff like that. So to generalize it and just say that this has got to be taken away and all that stuff, I don't quite agree with that.
Steven? Thoughts?
Yeah. This is just so, like, off the cuff, like, knee-jerk reaction type of thing. Like, there are worse things like these players could be doing, and they do. And yeah, I just said do on the show. Wink, wink. No, but there's worse things that happens than Fortnite. Like, I get that there might be cases where people play Fortnite into the wee hours of the morning, and, you know, so they're up till 3-4 in the morning playing Fortnite, and then, you know, not rested for the game later. And, you know, I understand if the reaction after that happened was to ban it, or at least for that player, but just banning it for the whole team just seems ridiculous. Because, like, what else could be happening? They go out to the clubs, they get drunk, and they, you know, get into an issue.
Well, let me ask this, Steven. Like, the Canucks play in the Pacific Division. There is another team in that division that has a unique home ice advantage because of some of the, let's call them, attractions that exist in the general area. And I'm talking about Las Vegas. So if you're the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, would you rather have your players in their hotel rooms playing Fortnite, or out on the town on the strip?
Yeah. No, I know. And I mean, there's... What were you going to say?
I was just saying, like, you know, yeah, it's expensive dinners, and maybe that's part of it because it's tradition to, like, make the rookies pay for dinner and all that stuff. So maybe the veterans are just bitter.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. Yeah. Where's the rookies to pay for dinner? Yeah.
But I don't know. For the record, the head coach did say, like, he has no such rule and he doesn't really care. This is all the veterans on the team saying it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they need to find a way to connect. I don't see why you can't bond through the game, and I'm not saying that's all they should do on the road, but I don't think it should be banned. And, Steven, real quick before I throw it back to you here, but I think it's proof for everybody that, identifies that if you're listening to the show, you're a gamer. There's still a lot of people out there that just look down on, one of our favorite hobbies. And I think it's ridiculous that there's still so much infighting within gamers. We all share the same hobby. Like, who cares? I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. What do you think, Steven? Like, do you think this will become a trend? Because we've seen things like my favorite baseball team, the Minnesota Twins, actually put on a Fortnite event before one of their home games in August or September. So some teams are totally embracing it, whereas others are doing this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're just worried about a situation like where a player just gets addicted to the point where they're not performing what their job is supposed to be, or training or whatever. Because I think it was David Price from the Red Sox said he was going to stop playing Fortnite because he was just addicted to it, and he was to the detriment of his multi-million-dollar career. But I feel like that should be more of a your own person. You're an adult. Like, if you want to throw away a multi-million-dollar contract because you're addicted to Fortnite, like, you're free to be an idiot and do that. I don't know. I feel like it's probably to avoid situations like that, but the fact that, like, as soon as you're told no, you just want to do it. So I don't know if this will work, and I think it'll just create an environment where people are pissed off at the veterans, per se.
Plus, I think that one of the biggest divides that exists is between gamers and sports in general. Like, a lot of gamers hate sports. A lot of your, quote, like, self-identified, hardcore gamers hate sports. And a lot of self-identified, quote, jocks look down on gaming. And I think that's changing slowly but surely. But the fact that there's so many athletes that play, especially this game, but lots of other games too, can help bridge that gap. And I think stuff like this just sends a bad message overall. I don't want to make it bigger than it is. I think it's just kind of a funny story, but and kind of stupid, but I think they can help bridge that gap. So, for example, there's a pitcher on, like I said, the Minnesota Twins. He's a member of Luminosity. That's the team that Ninja's on. Like, and during the offseason, he is doing stuff for them, like, all offseason. He's streaming and doing all that stuff. And he plays, guess what? Fortnite. So, I think there's a way to bridge the gap there. Graham, thoughts on that? Like, we've seen it, where people that like sports games in general, they're called, well, you're not a real gamer, What do you think?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a crossover. Like, even like the NHL games, like NHL players, a lot of them play that game. So there is definitely a crossover, and like with the popular Fortnite now, that it just was a matter of time before it spilled over into the hockey players. And if everyone else is enjoying it, then who's to say that they're not going to enjoy it, which clearly they are enjoying it. So yeah, and like I'm sure even those old players probably played Mario and stuff like that. So it's kind of hypocritical, but if they feel like it is taking away from the social time, because I think if you're on a team that you're going to play 82 games together, and I don't know how much time you spend on the road, like they're pretty much an extended family. So maybe someone feel like they're just being neglected. So I guess there is some grounds if that's all you're doing and you're not doing anything else. But it's sad that it's got to come down to the point where you got to give them like an ultimatum or take it away from them. Like these players, they should know, and they should want to be with their teammates.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So enough on that. Let's wrap up news with this story. So Graham, the Nintendo Switch is reportedly getting an upgraded version for release next year, as early as the summer. But before I go to Graham, I'm going to go to Steven on this because I know Graham's going to be super hyped for it. Steven, what new features or upgrades would you actually like to see in it?
Virtual console.
The terrible
All right,
ones.
fair
That's
enough.
it. I'm done.
That's
I'm done.
it. You're done. All right, Graham. What, in addition to Virtual Console, would you like to see?
I would especially like to see Bluetooth, some sort of Bluetooth connectivity, because it opens up a realm of possibilities. Biggest one, headsets with party chat. I don't know if you're gonna call it party chat, but have a way to communicate without having to use your phones. So that would be one of the biggest ones for me. I know there's lots of other stuff that people are thinking about, like more internal storage, a better graphics on the screen, maybe something more futuristic looking, change the D-pad. So there's a lot of things. I don't think they would change too much drastically because you don't want to like segregate, okay, you need to have this dock now, or the dock you used to have is not going to work, and the controllers and the Joy-Cons. So there's kind of that aspect where you don't want to like say it's a whole new system and all that stuff. And Nintendo's always done this little upgrade thing because like the 3DS, man, it was almost like every 2-3 years or they've come out with another one. So it's not a surprise. Some people complain about it's like the controller's a little small for people with bigger hands. So there's a few ways they can go. But it's only speculation right now. Nobody really knows.
No one knows. And we don't know if it's going to be more like internal upgrades or like exterior upgrades and visual upgrades like the screen and things like that. We don't know. But every single company does this because like Xbox releases a console, right? And then a few years later you get basically the Slim. Or this time we got the One X. You know, PlayStation does the same thing. The PS3 was like a behemoth at first, like physical size-wise. And then it got slimmed down as time went. So, and the 360 slimmed down as well. So there's always these kind of changes that go on. And I'm a little surprised that it's just 2 years into the cycle. But I'm hoping that we see something party chat related. I don't know if the party chat is just programming or if it's something built into the console that needs to work, and it might I don't know, it might take a combination of both, but I would like to see something that makes that functional without having to have an app and a bunch of other stuff going on. That's just me, but yeah, they have upgrades planned for next year. How much do you think that's going to cost, Graham? And if it's the same, what do you think the initial model is going to go to?
That's tough. I would say the initial model would drop at least 100. Maybe 100 is a good number.
$100.
Yeah, but you think it should be more? 150?
Yeah.
200?
Well, it's 300 right now.
Yeah.
I almost think like 199, and then the upgraded is 300 or maybe even 350.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Nintendo. I don't think they'll do anything crazy. Like, they'll probably keep the same price as the original Switch when it came out and then drop the other one down. Like, I don't think it'll be a cheaper model that's more powerful. Like, I'd be really surprised if they did that.
All right. Sounds good. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up news for the week?
Nope.
All right, that's going to do it for news, everybody. Let's head into releases.
Now
We'll start with
stories.
Xbox. So next week you can get, or this week, you can get Space Hulk Tactics on the 9th. You can get Stranded Deep, which I think Telltale released actually, on the 9th. And this little known shooter, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, available on the 12th next week. So some good games coming, especially Call of Duty. For everybody that's looking forward to playing Blackout, you can do that next Friday on the 12th of October. So games with gold, you've got Live Lock available through the 15th, Overcooked, the original, through the 31st. Those are the Xbox One games. And then finally, Stuntman Ignition, backwards compatible via the 360, available through the 15th of October. So you got next week and a little bit more after that to get your hands on that. So Steven gave it an endorsement last week. I know he said it was a good game, so get your hands on that. Make sure you download it. That's it for Xbox. And that sound means that it is time for our clue this week for our holiday giveaway. So our first clue, And remember, we promised that they were going to... We didn't promise specifics early on, but our first clue is this. I am from Earth. That's your clue for week number 1 of our holiday giveaway. And I want to clarify and say, when we say I, that doesn't mean it's a person. It's just describing either the person, the thing, whatever. Okay? So again, I am from Earth is our clue for the holiday giveaway this week. And let's go to Stephen for PlayStation releases. What do you have?
All right, on the 9th, you can also get Space Hulk Tactics and Disgaea 1 complete. And then on the 12th, you can also get Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And then for PS Plus games, you can get Laser League and Friday the 13th, the game. Graham, Nintendo.
Okay, for Nintendo, on the 11th, you can get the game Child of Light. This game was, I'm not sure about PlayStation. I know it was on Xbox. And also on the 11th, you can get Feral Fury. And then on the 12th, you can get The World Ends With You, a final remix. And that is your Nintendo Switch releases.
All right. Thanks, Graham. Steven, let's go to you for
Bam.
questions. What do we have from our community this week?
All right, first question for the COG32S. How bad is October going to hurt your wallets?
Badly, but not as badly as I might have thought.
That's because you game share. 'Cause
Yeah,
for me, it
that's
hurts my
true.
wallet a little bit.
That's true. But really, okay, so Forza Horizon 4 helps because that's Game Pass, right? So that's not a game that I have to shell out $60 for. And then it's Call of Duty, Red Dead, possibly Mario Party, although I haven't completely decided on that yet. And I've already said I'm planning to get Assassin's Creed Odyssey at a later date. I'm going to wait till that maybe goes on sale. Not that the game's not great. It's just a game that I'm not going to get any worse experience playing it 5 months from now than I do right now. So that's, unless I'm missing something gigantic, that's my October plans gaming-wise. What about you guys?
Yeah,
No.
for me, it's October is not going to hurt my wallet. November is going to hurt my wallet.
No, it's not. There's only one game you're... Oh, wait, there's Battlefield. Never mind, I forgot about
No,
that.
there's Pokemon Let's Go.
Oh, yeah,
There's
that one.
Battlefield. There's Overkill's The Walking Dead. That's a big one. There's Fallout.
Oh, that got delayed.
What? The Walking Dead? Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah,
My
it's delayed in next
my
year
list
now.
hasn't been updated. But anyways, I'm not worried about October. I said Pokemon. That's actually October. So yeah, November is going to hurt my wallet more than October.
Yeah.
Steven?
Like I implied earlier, yeah, October hurts because of just Red Dead and Call of Duty, because I have a feeling I'm gonna buy the Forza Horizon 4 like season pass soon, because I've just been absolutely adoring that game, and I'd probably get the Ultimate Edition upgrade actually, because then you get a couple extra things, so like the card pass and stuff. So we'll see. It's like $40 I think is what I saw. So it's a little expensive. It's not insane. I don't think it's the worst month. The worst month was the month that Mass Effect, or like the 2 months that like when Mass Effect Andromeda came out, because there was like Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Mass Effect, all in like a very tight window.
Yeah.
And I think spring of next year is gonna hurt, or at least
Yes.
January, because I'm gonna buy Kingdom Hearts like 7 million times. So
I think, personally, I think late January through like March into April next year is going to almost hurt worse
yeah.
than this holiday season. I feel like everybody's like backed out of the holiday season to the point that really that first part of next year is going to be another holiday season of releases. So
Yeah.
yeah. By the way, Steven, like, how surprised are you at how much you like Forza Horizon 4?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah, I
Because-
liked Forza Horizon 3 a lot. No, I don't
Yeah, but I know you've been raving about 4.
that
So
doesn't
would you say it's exceeded expectations or met them or what?
exceeded. There's a lot to do, to the point where, like, Tyler, you said you did the hovercraft like showcase. Like in the previous games, I had done the showcases immediately when they came up on the map. In fact, because I think you had to do the showcases before the next like area opened. But it's gone away from that. At least it seems like it, because I just haven't done any. Well, I did a couple showcases not that long ago, but I had let like 5 or 6 of them build up. I had just been going around collecting the danger signs, and I know they had those in previous games and the speed traps and all of that. I just been having a blast doing it. And I did a Forzathon event, and you play with people around the world to do the danger signs and cooperatively. So you have to as a group hit a certain level of points in that, and then a speed trap and a drift zone. So I had quite a bit of fun doing that. So yeah, I succeeded. I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, and we'll be doing a review of Forza Horizon 4. I think all three of us will be on for that, and we'll do that probably next weekend. Obviously, there's no way to super complete the game, but we'll give our thoughts on everything that we've done so far. And that'll be a timed Patreon exclusive. So if you want to get that right away, make sure that you help support the community on Patreon. All right, next question, Steven.
All right, next question from Moronic Genius. You kind of already answered this one, but he said, out of the games that are being released in the upcoming months, are there any games that you guys know you will not be playing/purchasing because you won't be able to take the time to fully enjoy them? And my answer to this is the same as Tyler's was, and that's Assassin's Creed, just because there's so much coming out right now that I'll just wait until it goes on sale and pick it up then, and hopefully there's less time, or in that end of November through December, and maybe get that game beaten and played then. But I won't be buying it right away because of that, because there's just so much to play.
Yeah, obviously my answer is Assassin's Creed as well. Graham, what about you?
My answer will be the same, and I am going to at least finish Origins before I play Odyssey, so that will give me a lot of time for that one to drop down in price. But yeah, definitely those are nice looking games. They're fun, they're open world. I enjoyed Origins. Didn't play a lot of it yet, but hopefully I'll get that finished before I jump into Odyssey.
So do you guys think that maybe for single player driven games like Odyssey, that early September window like Spider-Man or late spring is the better window for those games to release?
Yes, absolutely.
I do too. I think you see a lot more success. I feel like they're being stubborn, and I feel like part of it's for investors because they need a big release in the fourth quarter. I get that in that fall window to show revenue for the investors. I get that, but I sometimes feel like these games would be even more successful if you got them out to people when gamers were really hungry for something new. And fall is kind of turned into multiplayer time, with the big releases that come out. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with you guys. I think it would benefit from coming out in those different windows. But whatever, they're coming out in October. All right, next up.
Yeah, I think you're trying to set me up with the softball earlier there, Tyler, for transition, but I went a different route. But Xbot Toss asks, if Fable 4 is real and being developed by Playground, the company that makes Forza Horizon 4, or the Forza Horizon games in general, do you think Playground will do the series justice? I'll let you two go first before I go.
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Here's what I love about what Playground has done with Forza. It's pretty clear at this point that they've had a plan for what they want to do with each iteration of the games. Forza Horizon 4 is just a much more complete and polished game than the first Forza Horizon was. I feel like they've had a very clear direction that they want to go, and they have accomplished that and exceeded expectations in so many ways. And they've made a great game that's super fun to play. Like the Forza channel on our Discord is pretty much by far the most active one right now. People posting pictures, talking about different things in the game. It's got so many people so excited. And that's awesome. And on top of that, it's arguably the best looking game on the Xbox One right now. They did a fantastic job, and that's not just us raving about the game. The reviews for Horizon 4 have been fantastic. I think IGN gave it a 9.6, right? I feel comfortable with them, seeing the approach they've taken with Forza, doing Fable justice. You might not see everything with the first effort, but as they go, I think you'll see something really good. Graham?
Well, I tell you one thing for sure. The environment is going to look absolutely stunning if they do Fable 4. And this is a company that have proven that they can make good games, and like they evolve to make things better. So basically, they would take what they learned from all these other games, even if it's a totally different style game, and they'll just polish it into another game. And I would be more than happy to see what they would do with Fallout with Fable 4. Because, like I said, they've proven that they're a great company. They got the money, they have the funding, they have the talent. So why not? And if that's what it takes for me to get a Fable 4 game, then by all means, have at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they absolutely will do the series justice. Like their world building is just phenomenal. Like there's so much to do in Forza Horizon 4, and there was a lot to do in Forza Horizon 3. And even 2, like 1 was fun, 2 was a improvement, 3 was phenomenal, and 4 is just amazing. I don't know a word bigger than phenomenal, but I think their biggest issue is going to be like the combat and getting the magic system right and everything that made like the first 3 Fable games really fun to play, or at least the last 2 Fable games. But I have a feeling like Playground's gotten bigger as a studio, based on the success of the games and how much Microsoft seems to be trusting them. So I do think they'll do the series justice, and I'm really excited to play Fable 4 if it's real, because like the Fable series is one of my favorite Xbox series.
Watch now, it comes out and it's like Fable Legends, the second attempt. So, no, it won't be that.
No.
All right, Steve, we got time for at least a couple more. Go ahead.
All right. The question is for you two more than me. It said Jay Buzz asked, favorite Kingdom Hearts world?
Yeah, that is not for me at all.
Toy Story.
Sure. I would actually probably say. Oh no, I like the pirates part actually.
Yeah.
So from what I've seen,
Caribbean.
No.
And Steven's rolling his eyes over there. I can hear it.
I am.
So
I am.
go ahead, Steven. This is a question for you. Go ahed.
This is a tough one.
You have the floor.
Obviously it's Atlantica. No, it's definitely not Atlantica. That's the worst one. It's this one. This one's difficult. There's a couple good ones. I'd almost have to go with Halloween Town from the first one, and then the Christmas version in the second one, because they just were really fun. Like I don't know, I was not even a huge fan of the movie, but I just really liked the in the first game, that was the only area where your costume really changed. You kind of put on like a Halloween type costume. And I just really liked the aspect of it. It kind of got that creepy nature, and it had some of the more fun boss fights. I think, yeah, it was probably the best one from the first game. I'm really excited for some of these coming in the third game. I think, well, as Tyler and Graham are aware, I'm excited for the Frozen world. I want to see what that's going to be like. So I'm excited going forward, but I think it's the Nightmare Before Christmas world from the first 2 games.
If only you all could have been there in party chat with us when this was shown at E3. It was something to behold, truly. But
definitely, he
was. But Stephen, we're happy for you that you're excited. It's somebody's got to be. So go ahead. What's next?
There's a lot of people that are excited. Okay, Boss Man Booth asks, "What's been your favorite DLC in a game?"
Favorite DLC. I'm gonna have to go with. It's tough. Just because I'm on the spot, would be Fable. Wow, I'm getting these all mixed up. Fallout. It's one from Fallout 3. I forget what it was called, where you went where they're like mining and stuff like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. If when Nuka's probably listening to this right now, just screaming, "It's this!" I don't remember what it was. Steven, do you remember what it was?
Is it the one where you play as Fallout Boy?
Broken Steel. It was Broken Steel. That's what it was.
Yes, the band Steven makes an appearance in the game.
Yeah. according to Graham.
Graham, I'm surprised that you didn't say
Never gonna live that down.
No, you're
not. No, you're not. The Halloween expansion for Killing Floor 2.
Killing Floor 2.
Yeah.
No, or the Christmas one was.
It was
my
the Christmas
favorite,
one.
actually.
It was the
Christmas one was fantastic, but they just released a Halloween one, and Graham has promised to stream that. Correct?
Yeah.
No.
That's
Okay.
far from incorrect.
All right. For me, I'm gonna say Sunset Overdrive. Mostly because it was story based, and it gave me more of what I loved about that game. Like, that was open worldish game that I went and did everything in, and it gave me more of it, and it was exactly what I wanted, and I had a great time with it. That was a no brainer for me to buy.
Yeah.
Steven?
Yeah, mine story wise was probably the Secret Armory of General Knox from the first Borderlands game. I thought it was funny. And then it also had the hardest boss in the game, bar none, and probably the hardest boss in a lot of games. That boss was difficult, but really fun. But my favorite just DLC in general would probably be in the second Left 4 Dead, the DLC. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it was the DLC that brought all the maps from the first game into the second one. So you got to play through the maps again with the original characters, but with the new zombies and the new weapons and stuff. So that was because I put, thousands of hours into Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 combined. So that's probably the one I played the most of and I enjoyed the most.
All right.
You want to go last question?
Sure, yeah, last one.
All right, let's see here. All right. Goose Wong Golf Wong. Hope I said that right. That's a lot of words there. Said, what single player game have you put the most time into?
Wow. I'm so getting.
Are you okay over there? Graham's melting down right now.
Fallout 3.
Not Fallout 4, Graham, really?
No.
3 was better.
No,
okay.
3 was. Yeah, I played the crap out of that. I probably would have continued playing crap out of it, but my Xbox 360 hard drive became corrupted, and I lost all my progress.
Okay. Single player game, most progress. Are we eliminating sports games from this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you don't play them single player anyways.
Yeah. Boy. It's probably between Sunset Overdrive and BioShock, to be honest with you, for single player games. In BioShock, it's not a long story, but I've played it so many times. And then also, Halo campaigns, but that's not one game, that's many games. But it'd be between BioShock and Sunset Overdrive for most time spent in a single player game for me. Actually, well, maybe Red Dead Redemption. I don't know. Steven?
Well, it's funny. I just yelled at you for no sports games, but honestly, the FIFA 17 single player, FIFA 17 single player campaign I was doing, or the GM or be a GM mode or whatever. I think I have 30 days in it. That's how much I played that game. But for story wise, I don't a single save file was probably Final Fantasy 13 2. I don't know why I love that game. I put 140 hours into it or whatever on a single save. But across the playthrough is probably Skyrim. Just based on how many times I put 40 hours, 50 hours into a campaign, or into a save file. And what's funny? I still never beat that game. I played it so many times.
Of course you didn't. That's not even funny. That's predictable.
I've never beat the story, though. The main story. But it's hard to beat the main stories in Bethesda games because they're never as good as all the extra stuff there is to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Minus Fallout 3. I actually enjoyed Fallout 3 story a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
No, because last time I started saying my goodbyes, you're like, oh, he's saying goodbyes already, so I'm nothing else to say.
All right, so let's wrap this up. I want to remind everybody, we'd love to have you join our community, and the best ways to do that, go to Facebook, look up the Gaming Hub forums, and join through that. Head over to Twitch, where we're broadcasting live right now, and look up TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. Make sure you hit follow so you never miss when we go live with a stream. whether it's an episode or just us playing something. And from either of those places, you'll get a link to our Discord channel and server, and you'll be able to join that. And that's probably where the most active conversation takes place. From Facebook or Discord is where you're going to get the opportunity to submit guesses for our holiday giveaway. And we highly, highly encourage you to do that. That's the only way you're going to be able to submit guesses. We will not accept anything through email or Twitter or whatever. So it's got to be through there using the Google Forms thing that we put up on both of them. So make sure you join those if you want to be entered and have a chance to win. So if you want to help support the show, there's a couple ways to do that too, and we'd really, really appreciate it. One is on Twitch. Again, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to use that on us, we'd really, really appreciate that. If not, use it on somebody, help them grow and achieve their goals. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/gaminghub. And through that, you can, for as little as $2 a month, get bonus content and extra clues and an extra guess into our holiday giveaway. For as little as $5 a month, you're entered into our monthly giveaway for patrons only. That is $60 in gift price to your favorite console to spend on whatever you want. So with that, I am Tyler for Graham and Steven. Thank you so much for joining us for episode number 127. We'll be back next week with 128. Until then, everybody, have a great time, have a great week, play some great games, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone. And if it's a long weekend for you guys, like me, have a great, safe, long weekend.
Bye-bye.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, Graham. Bye, everybody.
Bye.